Hello, everyone, and thank you again for visiting me on my blog. Really appreciate it. Tonight, I'm going to be talking about Fuller's theory. Now, I briefly talked about Fuller's theory and many other theories and laws in a previous post, but tonight I really wanted to focus on him because I think this guy was way ahead of his time, amazing inventor, things that we see today that I had no idea, and I'm sure that you had no idea that he invented, that I didn't mention again in my previous post. So I thought I would just dive a little bit more into him and who he really is. So Bucky Minster Fuller, everyone knew him as Bucky, was an amazing inventor. He was from the 20th century. He again was a famous inventor, visionary. He published more than 30 books. Some of these inventions that you see here below in these two pictures, one is a geodesic dome. This was a picture from New Boston Air Force Station that I was actually stationed at. Amazing that I had no idea that these domes, 5, 6, 7 years ago, I'm now learning more about it. And then on the right-hand side is one of his inventions. Again, it's a Dymaxion car. Dymaxion is short for a dynamic maximum intention, one of his coined phrases that he uses along with many other ones. But in regards to this vehicle, it's solving our problems today, even though he invented this, decades ago. This vehicle is very fuel efficient, can turn on a dime, very streamlined, and may not be practical back then, but as of for today, yeah, it might be a little bit long and weird looking like Oscar Mayer hot dog going down the road. It would be solving our problems of fuel efficiency, low emissions, and so forth. So even though, again, back then, it may not have been practical today, we most definitely would have used it. So the main focus, again, is his theory, and his theory is known as the knowledge doubling. So what actually is it? So what that really comes down to is our brain is constantly learning, right? It's constantly evolving. Think about what happened during World War II and so forth. Knowledge was doubling every 25 years then. What he noticed that until about the 1900s, knowledge was doubling about every century or so. But then fast forward to World War II again, it was doubling about almost every 25 years. Go forward some more, it was doubling almost every 13 months, 14 months or so forth. And now today, it's basically estimated that knowledge is doubling every 12 hours. I mean, look how much we're learning, how much we're being able to grasp on technology and innovations and so forth. When I was a kid, I didn't have a mouse and a keyboard to play with. I mean, it was like an old Texas Instrument. Where now look at my son, who's 8 years old, is able to maneuver on a smartphone. And so just from what he's learned, again, and what I've learned is completely different because, again, the brain is constantly evolving, is constantly growing. So that's what his basis, what his theory was that knowledge is doubling. So to put it in perspective real quick, just an example is the brain, how it's just constantly growing it is 7 billion petabytes by that first bullet there. That's huge, right? I mean, in comparison, look at the internet. I mean, we use the internet every day. You're using it now as you visit my blog and learning about Fuller's theory. It's 5 million terabytes. So look at all these digits. Look at all these zeros. That is just crazy. And just to think that this man in the early 20th century knew that the brain would be constantly evolving, growing, learning more at a faster rate is what I'm getting at. So that's pretty much it. I've got nothing else to say. If you want to learn more, you can scoop the internet because it's only 5 terabytes big. Thank you again for stopping by. Take care.